All right, let's turn our attention to Ministry of Steel Development, which is planning a one-month bootcamp training for youths to empower them with advanced technical skills in welding and fabrication, equipment support for business growth, including job creation and sustainable livelihood. And those eligible are ones between the ages 18 and 40. Interested applicants should log on to the ministry's website on www.msd.gov.ng. An application closes on the 30th of October 2024. Well, with me in the studio to give more insight into this development is the Minister of State Steel Development, Uba Megari Amadou. Good morning, Honorable Minister. Thanks for joining us on the news.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Start by asking you what actually informed this initiative.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Nigerians. What really informed this is our drive as a ministry to make contributions towards nation building. We all know that no nation actually develops industrially without first of all taking care of its steel sector. And having said that, we at the ministry conceived, in fact, this is directly off my desk, we conceived this idea of a program to basically train Nigerian youths, artisanal welders, those who have already started learning the trade, and those who are interested in learning the trade of welding. And we are focusing now on 1,000. We actually planned to take 10,000 young people, but of course we have competing demands and budgetary constraints. That's why we ended up with 1,000, and eventually we are only able to take in 700 on this stretch. What we intend to do is to assemble them in Onitsha. You probably have heard about the Metallurgical Training Institute, MTI, a specialist school that was set up during the Shagari regime, basically to train middle cadre professionals to service the steel sector. We intend to assemble them and train them like you rightly said in the forerunner, in metal fabrication, systems and control, instrumentation, foundries, mechanical maintenance, and issues like that. This sector has suffered neglect, so much so that we have a dearth of professionals in that particular sector. That is what we are trying to bridge. Train professionals in that sector to probably upscale their trade when they go through this 30 days boot camp. You would have noticed that it is supposed to be a continuous program. After this 30-day boot camp, of course, we'll attach them to much more established welders, so that they continue to mentor them and get them to the level they will be weaned off, and they are able to stay on their own and probably, like we anticipate, employ more people. After the 30-day boot camp, of course, we intend to support them with equipment, basic equipment, to start off on their own. We have this problem with growing up with our parents wanting to have every one of us as either engineers or lawyers or medical doctors. There's nothing wrong with that. But the world we live in today requires technicians and skilled professionals like welders as much as it requires the services of doctors and engineers. And that is the gap we're trying to bridge.
Okay, so I wanted to ask if this is just a one-month thing or it's going to extend beyond that, but I would like you to speak to whether it's going to be replicated across the regions of the country or just specifically Abuja alone.
Of course, we'll want to do much more. Like I said earlier, we have constraints, and we are looking at them. We would want to do much more. Even the initial concept was targeted as taking 10,000. We still want to do 10,000, but it will be instrumentally. Now we are going to take 700, after which we will review the successes like we anticipate. It's already hitting the airwaves. It's virtually everywhere. And as at the last time we checked on Friday, over 48,000, it will amaze you to find out that over 48,000 young people have registered for a program to take in 700 at a go. And that speaks to the issues we are trying to solve. The moment we reel out these programs targeted at getting our young people engaged in a manner that they can also sustain themselves and employ some others, you will believe me that subsequently there will be need to replicate these programs in many folds. Even now, as we speak, we have spoken and we have a commitment to engage the government of Kano State. They are interested in replicating the program at the subnational level. We are talking to some other states, but for now, we have initiated conversation with Kano State. Is at the level. We don't want to jump the cart, so I will just leave it at that. It is a program that has great potential, and I'm sure by the time we roll out this particular one, many more subnationals will come in, because I know as a matter of fact that there are very many states that have something like this, but in a small scale. We know states that have small skill acquisition centers. What we are doing is like improving on those centers, specifically in the area of welding and metal fabrication. Just recently, a brother of mine sent me something very interesting, and it will surprise you to find out that it is an advertisement placed somewhere in a far-flung country named Azerbaijan, requesting for trained welders, specialist welders and metal fabricators. And how much are they going to pay them? $2,500 per month, with accommodation and some other things to make their lives comfortable. So just imagine that we are able to train 1,000 welders. By the way, we have a relationship with the International Welding Federation and the Nigerian component too. Just imagine that we are able to get 10,000 Nigerians who are trained in welding, and we are able to export just 5,000 with the needed accreditation and certifications that usually come after these basic trainings. Imagine how much we can get back by way of repatriation of the forex they are going to earn. That is a very wonderful thing to look at, and we are doing so much to make sure that everything falls in place and we don't have mistakes. I'm optimistic this is going to change the narrative as it concerns our relationship with our young people, that we are trying to engage in a productive venture to sustain themselves and make their contributions in the nation's GDP and the nation's economy as well.
Coming here, Honorable Minister, I understand we're targeting, or the ministry is targeting, a 700 person for now, and looking to expand. But this 700 persons, after this training, I know you talked about job creation. Would there be some sort of job opportunities for all of them, or apprenticeships after this boot camp?
Definitely. These are people who don't actually have need to go looking for jobs. But for those who are interested in working under some people, when you check the numbers, you'll be surprised. I'll give you one example. There is this incredible Nigerian, Innocent, who assembles his vehicle somewhere in Nnewi. Sometimes last year, we took a facility tour of the institute, the Metallurgical Training Institute in Onitsha. And by way of just seeing what they do, we went to the Innocent Vehicles plant. He told us himself that he doesn't go looking for workers. All he does is he waits after every graduation cycle of the institute. He just mops the best students from there straight to his factory. That gives you the exact value of qualified welders, metal fabricators, expert in foundries and mechanical maintenance systems and instrumentation control. They are much sought after, especially in the oil and gas, telecoms sectors. Name them. They are much sought after. They don't go looking for jobs. But for those who are interested in working under established engineering firms, we have partnerships with so many of them. That will lead us to the next big thing we have in the offing. But so as not to preempt your questions, I would just wait for you so that we roll it on and see how it goes.
To know where the location of this boot camp is, because there are so many people that are willing to join the exercise, as you've already started witnessing the influx of registration.
Yes. It's going to be held in Onitsha, 30 days in Onitsha. Like I said, we have the Metallurgical Training Institute. By the way, it was set up by the Shagaru regime in 1981. Many people don't even know the school exists. It's still there. That is where we intend to host it for a number of reasons. We intend to pool the resource persons from all over. But having an institute like that, we have the workshops, we have the equipment on ground and the environment. And we want to bring them all together in one place in 2 batches and train them. They will be housed there, after which, like I said, we will provide basic equipment for them to enable them start on their own. The Metallurgical Training Institute has been there, like I said, since 1981, and I will advise and plead that Nigerians around, especially in the Southeast, take time out to go and see what our founding fathers have done to put Nigeria on its industrial path. Unfortunately, for a number of reasons, we've not maximally put the institute to use, and that is one thing this government is doing to put Nigeria, get Nigeria back on its industrial trajectory.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of State Steel Development, Uba Megari Amadu, for finding out time to be part of this news this morning to speak to this development. And we also hope that the youths will leverage this opportunity to have or gain hands-on experience.
They will. They will. Like I said, at the close of work on Friday, we already had over 49,000 who have shown interest. And that tells you that Nigerian youths are not lazy. They are willing to take on opportunities as long as they are available. And before I leave you, I'll leave you with this. There is this project that we are cooking up also. It's called the Greenhouse Initiative. We inherited presidential approval to recover abandoned vessels, ships, barges, and tankers littered all over Nigerian waterways. And what we intend to do with it, we tweaked it in such a manner that we went into partnership with 4 indigenous steel manufacturing plants. We'll recover the ships. There are over 3,000 of them between Lagos and Bayelsa. We recover them first, then we break them down. By the way, the shipbreaking industry is another thriving concern between Germany, China, and Greece, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. They are making billions of dollars from shipbreaking. But for a start, we intend to break them down in partnership with 4 indigenous steel manufacturing, steel making plants, and we want to use those scrap metals to produce greenhouses. For the pilot project, we are looking at 100,000 pieces of greenhouses. And one company out of, I hope I'm not taking too much of your time, one company out of the 4 has sent in a prototype which will have a solar panel on top and refrigeration facility. What we intend to do is we attach 1 greenhouse per person, per young person, and have him trained in either growing vegetables or wheat or sweet corn or whatever. You will need to go online and check how much sweet corn sells. Okay.
We will speak further to this thing, probably Good Morning Nigeria or any other flagship program, because it's a great initiative by the ministry. Thank you so much for being part of the news.
Thank you for having me.